Hey guys, JamesMCD's Reviews here. Welcome to another episode of the Cinematic Bucket List series, and in celebration of the new film Dial of Destiny hitting theaters this weekend, I'm going to be talking about all the Indiana Jones movies. Fun fact, I actually tried watching Raiders one time at a friend's house years ago, but we decided to watch it really late at night and we both ended up falling asleep, which I know is a crime punishable by death, but hopefully this video will make up for it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So these films were released from 1981 to 2008. They were directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by George Lucas, and star Harrison Ford as Dr. Indiana Jones, world-renowned explorer and archaeologist who, over the course of 4 movies, gets thrust into various life-threatening adventures in order to find valuable, lost ancient artifacts. Along for the ride are various other side characters on Indy's journey, some of them typically attractive females. They are usually being pursued by a rival group of archaeologists who are only interested in sort of the mystical aspects or the monetary value, and most of the time the bad guys get their comeuppance. I was reading one of my friend's Letterboxd reviews because he had posted something about one of the Indiana Jones movies, and he brought up a really good point that Hollywood doesn't really make movies like this anymore. Like, when it comes to like big action adventure treasure hunting movies, like it's really hard to think of any in recent year. Like, I think the closest thing is probably Uncharted, and I guess if you wanted to go a little further back, even though this was technically making fun of movies like this, would probably be like Dora the Lost City of Gold. But beyond those, it's very rare that we see just a big, like, large-scale action-adventure epic like these types of movies. Because, like, say what you will about the Indiana Jones movies and their quality and which ones are good, which ones are bad, but, like, there's no denying the scale of them is ridiculous. Like, each one feels like an epic. You feel like you're along for the ride with Indy. Like, the amount of big, exotic locations and, you know, the breathtaking set pieces, the cinematography, the set design, the production design in all of these movies is just fantastic. And everything about these movies just feels huge. Another thing that I think really helps these movies, like, stay as, you know, well regarded as they are for the most part, is that the stories are kept pretty simple. I mean, obviously any good movie should have a good story, but I mean, you're not really there for the story. I mean, I was able to describe and sum up 4 movies in just a, like, couple sentence, like, story, because they all have very similar aspects to them, but really it's the characters and, you know, the stakes and the action that is, you know, keeping you invested. They really do a good job of making Indy an easy character to root for, because he's more or less kind of the everyman. Like, yes, he's, you know, an archaeologist, he goes on these big crazy adventures, and he gets, like, thrust into these situations of, like, searching for, like, ancient mystical artifacts that, like, everyone under the sun is looking for them for their power and, you know, for monetary value or whatever. But, like, Indy doesn't really give a shit. Like, he talks about, you know, like, fortune and glory and stuff like that. But honestly, he strikes you as, like, he could really give a shit about all that, like, big stuff. He kind of just, you know, cares about the adventure. And half the time when he's, like, given sort of the rundown of, like, these ancient artifacts and their sort of history and their mythical qualities, most of the time he starts off the story as not even, like, really buying into sort of the whole hokey religious aspect of it. But then, you know, as the adventure goes on, he goes to find out, like, what he's actually gotten into. And I think Harrison Ford definitely plays into a lot of the charm that Indy has. He is just so goddamn likable. He's just so full of life and charisma. Even in Crystal Skull, like, a lot of people complain that, oh, Indy's a lot older and he's a lot slower and everything like that. But it's like, yeah, okay, a lot of the times in that movie he does seem a little bit more tired and out of it, but I mean, you know, he does definitely still have his kick-ass moments. It's not like he's, like, reliant on everyone to do shit for him. He's still having to save people from trouble from time to time. Keeping on the characters, I think a lot of the side characters as well really make the movies more enjoyable. Some are better than others. Like, one of the biggest issues that I have with Temple of Doom is fucking Willie Scott. Like, she is just the most annoying, unlikable female side character / love interest in any of these movies. She's just always complaining, always screaming. She's super annoying. She always has to get rescued, and she just doesn't really contribute anything. The rest of them range from good to great. I think the ones that I enjoyed the most were probably Marion from Raiders, Short Round from Temple, and Dr. Jones Sr. In Crusade. Marion, she had really great rapport off of Indy. You buy them as sort of like distant lovers or like a couple who have kind of fallen out, but through this wacky adventure have to get back together. And they honestly seemed like the only time where, you know, a female love interest has been in this movie, and it doesn't seem like a one-off. Like, you do kind of wonder in the others, like, I get why they switch out the side characters between movies, because, you know, they're going for the Bond formula or the Doctor Who formula where, you know, it's a new group of misfits, like, along for the ride with Indy and everything like that, and it keeps the story fresh and it gives him new people to interact with. But with Marion, it's like, you know, she doesn't even really get any closure until Crystal Skull. And it's like you're kind of left like wondering where the hell she was for the last two movies. Short Round, I know people find him annoying, but I don't care. I fucking love this kid. He is amazing. He is his own little ball of just badassery. And the fact that this kid would eventually go on to win an Oscar makes it all the better. I think the one that everyone unanimously loves, though, is Indy's dad, played by Sean Connery. Like, he definitely gets into his own share of, like, trouble and has to be rescued a lot. But unlike Willie, he's never annoying. Like, it seems like whenever it gets in trouble, it is genuinely just sort of innocence and naivete. Like, he does things a much different way than Indy does, and seeing that those two styles sort of clash in Crusade is always really fun to watch. Since I talked about the visuals at the start, I think the action plays another great part in these movies. It's very over the top, but still kind of grounded. I mean, for the most part. Crystal Skull gets pretty silly, but there are some really memorable set pieces. There are a lot of great car chases. There are a lot of, you know, just chases in general. The minecart scene in Temple of Doom, the various air battles and like tank chases in Crusade. They were really well shot, well choreographed, and just looked awesome. The music as well, it seems pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's John Williams, and it's classic for a reason, so there's practically no point in discussing it. Going to my rankings for each individual film, starting off with Raiders. Raiders is a 4. It's definitely an iconic movie for a reason. There are a lot of, you know, memorable scenes and memorable lines and just memorable moments altogether. It is a really good movie. It's a great, like, start. It also works as a standalone movie. And yeah, it was just overall really solid, so I'd give it a 4. Temple of Doom is probably my personal favorite. I don't think it's technically the best of the 4. But it's the one that I like the most. I think it has like the best action. It has the coolest set design. Once again, I know Willie sort of drags it down a few points, but Short Round like ups those points by like 10. So he more than makes up for it. And I also just like that this one kind of got a little darker and had a lot more creepier imagery. So I'd probably give this one a 4.5. Last Crusade, I think, is technically the best one. Even though I like Temple better, I'd still give this one a 4.5. If this were a true trilogy, this would be a really nice place to end off on. It definitely acts as a satisfying ending. And yeah, it just has a lot of really great moments, a lot of great lines, some cool action. Of course, Sean Connery is a blast, like I was saying earlier. And yeah, it was just a really solid, really great movie. And then finally, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This one, I feel like, is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. Like, I don't think it was as bad as its reputation made it out to be. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely the weakest of all of them, and the dumb moments are still very dumb. Like, you know, the hiding in the refrigerator, the whole thing being aliens, a lot of the CGI looking really, really bad. It did still keep sort of a fun, like, tone to it, and it kept with the same feel of the other ones. Like, did it need to exist? Probably not, but as is, I got some enjoyment out of it. I love that they brought back Marion. I actually didn't mind Mutt Williams. I thought Shia LaBeouf was fine. He wasn't annoying. The villains were pretty weak, admittedly, but for the most part, I enjoyed this one a little more than I thought I would. Again, it's not perfect, but it is alright. I would probably give this one a 3 out of 5. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Indiana Jones movies. What did you think? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Which is your favorite and least favorite? And are you looking forward to Dial of Destiny this weekend? Let me know all that stuff down below. It might be a while before you get a new video from me. I'll try to get something up in the meantime, but I'm working on a bit of a monumental project and task, which will take a few weeks to put together, so just stick around for that. But again, I'll try to be back as soon as I can. Until then, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.